I made this video to show how I went about installing a SeaWater Pro 40 gallon per hour water maker on my Viking Princess 60. SeaWater Pro has some excellent installation videos, which I recommend that you watch, but there are a few things that I didn't see covered, and so I had to figure them out on myself, and I thought maybe this might help you in your installation. The most important part is planning the installation, and I'm trying to show you where each component goes to assist you in doing that. I hope you find it useful. Here is my pump and motor installation. This is in the lazarette, we'll call the basement. I mounted it to a board for a couple of reasons. One, the way these holes are positioned, and it's even worse on the back side of the base plate of the motor, it's almost impossible to get a screw drilled down through there to fasten to anything. So I made a base plate out of polyethylene, fastened that down with these four corners. I put anti-vibration bushings in between, and I came up with a machine screw from the bottom. It's the same thing on the back side of it to fasten the motor down. So it's very secure. If I need to service the motor, I just take the four screws of the base plate out. The whole thing slides out. There's some slack in the high pressure hose back there, and I think it's going to work. The electrician is going to be hooking this part up, and if he doesn't have enough room, again, all he has to do is move the base plate and slide the motor out. So pretty clean installation, pretty much out of the way. Tucked in under the power, side power bow and stern thrusters. This is my filter, pre-filter installation. It's down here in the lazarette, or basement as we call it. Like I did with the motor, I mounted a polyethylene board just because I like drilling into that as opposed to the wall. Mounted the board to the wall. Before installing this, I mounted all the components to it, so it made the install really easy. You can see here's the 20 micron first filter. The water will be coming in right here. It goes through the 20 micron filter, 5 micron filter, comes out over there, and I'll be running a hose back to the pump. So that's what feeds the pump, its water. Meantime, that little upward pointing connection will go up to the low pressure gauge on your control panel. That tells you that you have water pressure in the system from your 12 volt or 24 volt boost pump. And so that will be a connection that goes up to the control panel. So the water goes out to the pump there, comes in from the 24 volt pump here. This connection here, that's a carbon filter, and that's really a separate system. That's part of the rent system. The top of that up there will be connected to pressure fresh water. You set the timer, it's battery powered, or however often you want, and it's explained in the instructions, and that will send clean fresh water down through this carbon filter, purpose of which is to remove any impurities, but especially chlorine, which can damage the membranes. It'll come through that filter, gets cleaned, that comes down here and will connect down here, goes through these filters, and then back washes the system, and ultimately goes out through the brine fitting on the control panel. I'll show you that later. It's almost like two different systems though. One feeds the system with water, the other flushes the system. One thing to notice when you unpackage your kit, this is a one-way valve. That one is simply a T. They're easy to get confused, so just pay attention. It's marked on the package what it is, but that's just a T. But this is a one-way valve that lets water go this way or this way, but not the opposite ways. Okay, that's basically it for the pre-filter installation. Okay, to summarize, raw water from the through hole will be coming in here, goes through this one-way valve, so it can't go up there, goes through the 20 micron filter, through the 5 micron filter, and comes out over here. That gray thing on top will have a 1/4 inch blue hose connected to it that goes up to the control panel to tell us how much low pressure there is in the system. The 1/2-inch clear hose runs its route. We'll get back to this rinse system in a minute. It runs its route and follows along. I have it tucked under here. You probably can't see it, don't need to see it. Comes down here and ultimately feeds into the high pressure pump there. The pump then pumps out high pressure through the black hose, runs up here, and goes into the high pressure inlet at the top of the membrane. The water flows down through there, comes up and around. It will come out here and go up to the control panel, which we'll cover in a minute. The product desalinated water will come out of here, also will go to the control panel. Back over here, the rinse system here will have a 1/2-inch hose running to it, and it will go into pressurized fresh water, which when the timer turns on will send fresh water down through here, through this carbon filter, down through here, through this one-way valve, through the system, and keep going and flush out the system. That's basically the flow. The rinse system is sort of separate in many ways from the water creation system. If I had it to do over, I might have used a 90-degree fitting here. This bend isn't too bad. I'm not unhappy with it, and it's pretty clean, but 90 would have given me another option. Just remember, you do have those available from SeaWater Pro if you need them. Overall, I'm very happy with the installation. Used up just a little bit of floor space for the pump, or for the motor. The pump is actually tucked underneath where there's no wasted space. The lines aren't flowing all over the place. You can barely see the line that goes under here, and didn't really use up much usable space over here. So pretty clean. Still got a few more hoses to run, but they'll stay mostly up in the ceiling. I'm not sure where I'm going to run the raw water hose yet. That one may go down to the floor. This is what the Space Saver loop looks like when it's installed. You have stainless steel fittings connecting the two high pressure ports, and you will have these push fittings that will go in there to connect the low pressure ports. Saves a lot of room. It's $95, but I think it's probably worth it. Also in the kit, they give you this little nut and screw, or machine screw with a nut. I put these two washers on there, which didn't come in the kit, just to preserve the spacing, but this lets this tighten up, and you can get it nice and snug, so you have a very compact unit. Next, I'll put the low pressure loops on. By the way, you have to connect this after you connect this, because these need to be pulled apart to be shoved in order to make it all work. The loop I'll trim, and it'll shove right straight down in there. I just forgot, you also need to install these into the end of the membranes. That's what your high pressure hoses will connect into. They take Teflon 9/16" wrench. In the kit, it's a little confusing because they give you 4 of them, and these two, combined with these two, I think, are what would allow you to use this hose to make the high pressure loop on the other end if you weren't using the Space Saver. So I believe that those are leftover parts. All right, so this is ready to go down and be installed now. And there is the final assembly. If it helps, the little white tube I cut to exactly 3 inches. First one I cut was too short, but once you push it down in there, 3 inches seems to work. This is the 6x6 control panel. I mounted it into a little box, which will ultimately get mounted in that cat locker right there. Simply cut it out and mounted it. It's got the flow meter, the low pressure gauge, the high pressure gauge, low pressure pump, high pressure pump, and the pressure regulator all on the front of it. From the back, the electrical connections are here. The high pressure from the out membrane will come in here. The half-inch brine hose, which runs overboard, will attach here. The output from the membrane of the product water, the desalinated water, will go in here. It'll go through the flow meter, and then it'll come out here and go into the tank. That's the 3/8" hose. The 1/4" blue hose will go in here. That connects to excuse me, the other side of the filter system and allows you to know how much pressure is in the low pressure side of the unit. There it is. You can see it right there on the front. So that is basically how that hooks up. For convenience, I mounted it into this little work panel, and we're going to install that later. So one piece of the puzzle, excuse me, that still I couldn't see solved anywhere else is how to hook into the freshwater lines. You need to be able to hook into one of your freshwater lines behind the pump, in other words, that always has pressure. That will be this fitting. It's a shark bite stick-in type of T, a little piece of hose. That hose is 15 millimeters, and I believe that's standard boat hose for the cold water supply lines. Another shark bite fitting there, and this tailpiece will screw into there. One thing that the very helpful folks at McDonald's and Fort Lauderdale, McDonald's Hardware, that have all this hardware, told me is you have to be careful. There's an O-ring down in there, but a plastic fitting, although the thread might fit in there, it doesn't reach the O-ring, and you might not get a good seal. So they suggested these brass nipples in this case, and this will be a compression fitting over here. So I'll put Teflon tape on this just to be sure. It screws in very deeply. It probably is sealing itself on the O-ring. Can't do it with one hand, but that is the setup that they gave me. A T, which is shark bite fitting for 15 millimeter hose, little section of hose to make the connection. This screwed on, or this plugs into there, this plugs into there, this screws onto there. Similar thing over here for the product connection, 3/8" hose. There, however, there's no real good barb fitting like this for the 1/2" hose. This is the rinse hose. This is the product line fitting, and this will go in before the pressure pump. You don't have to run all the way to the tank, which in my case is all the way up in the bow. I just need to get into a cold water line, but before the pump, in other words, between the tank and the pump. And then the product water will come out of the flow meter and come into this compression fitting, goes in there, and this will tap into the line. So that's some stuff that I didn't know that maybe you might find helpful. 15 millimeters seems to be the standard plastic boat hose that most boats I've seen have running, and they do make these shark bite fittings that fit them well. And but that's a little trick as far as making this fitting work properly. I was tempted to use the plastic, but they said better not, might leak. So that's going to be installed in a little while, and that will give me my freshwater rinse and also my freshwater product. The rinse comes after the pump because it needs to be pressurized and works off of the gauge, the rain meter. I showed you that before, the gauge. And the product water will go in front of the pump, between the pump and the tank. I forgot to add that I wasn't aware of on shark bite fittings. In this particular fitting, this part here actually twists and locks down. Turn it, you can see me turn it, and that locks it down tighter. I wasn't even aware of that. I had never experienced it before, but the guys at McDonald's told me that you start with it opened up, and you put your line in, and then you twist it clockwise, and it tightens it down. So that's something I didn't know about that style fitting, perhaps. And there's probably other ways to do this. I'm certainly no expert when it comes to this kind of plumbing stuff. This just is the way that seemed it would work for me. So that's what I'm doing. So there are a couple of ways to get raw water into the system using the 24 or 12 volt pump. One technique that SeaWater Pro told me is that I could tap into a non-main intake line. In other words, not for the generator, not for the engines, but a through hole which connected to the air conditioning intake would be okay, or perhaps a raw water washdown. Another less eloquent solution is you can actually drop the pump overboard. It's submersible, so that's a possibility. But the gold standard is its own through hull. Of course, that involves hauling the boat in some cases and a lot of extra trouble. In my case, I was very lucky. This is a Viking Princess 2013, 60 foot, and it happened to have an unused seacock going through a through hull in a convenient location. So I was able to take the plug out of the seacock. I used a 1-inch nipple to extend the male threads so that reducer, bell reducer, 1-inch to 3/4 inch would fit on there. And then finally a 3/4 inch elbow to connect the 3/4 inch hose. And you can see the arrangement there. Yours is probably totally different. I went with their recommended sea strainer. They have a much nicer one, but this is an inexpensive one they said would work fine from Amazon. It's on their website, the link to it if you want to go that way. You will need your own 3/4 inch hose because that's not supplied in the kit. And you want to minimize the distance that the water has to flow until it gets to the pump. So this is the arrangement I used. Comes through the through hole, goes into the strainer, goes into the pump, and then continues on. This is 1/2 inch hose. This is 3/4 inch hose. And whatever system works for you, that's how it has to be hooked up. So, unfortunately, there wasn't enough space behind here. There's too much other stuff behind there to have this mounted to there. So we ended up bringing a hole down through there. All our hoses and high pressure hoses and all product line, everything comes up through there, and it'll be mounted into this box. This is the box. And that's how it will fit in there. Pretty clean. I actually painted those things before, but the paint didn't take, so I'll have to touch that up later. But that's it. The box, there's plenty of slack. Be able to attach the hoses back here, run through there. They will run down through here and on to the connections below. Okay, so I ran out of time, and I'm going to have my electrician finish up making the connections as well as do the wiring, which I didn't feel comfortable with. His name is Ozzy. He has his own company, OSA Solutions. He installs these systems professionally, and I highly recommend them. He gave me many good tips in how to do the installation, and if you'd like to drop a line in the comments, I can put you in touch with him. But basically all that's left is making the connections at the panel and then making the connections down below, which I think I showed you most of. I hope this has helped.